Hello, everybody. Hello. How is everybody doing? I hope you're all are ready for another amazing show today. So let me ask you this. Have you been told no before? Or have you been told you're too late and you had your chance? Or better yet, are you sitting someplace and you want to do your what's next, but you're stuck? See, that was me. And that literally was me. I was sitting somewhere doing what everybody wanted me to do. I lost myself for that. And I was just sitting there so bad that I literally had a breakdown. And yes, I was sitting in a cubicle looking around like, I want more than this, but didn't even know where to start until I started digging deep, looking inside myself, and really being true and honest to myself. And it was hard. I know it was, because we all face it. But now I've created a tribe, and that's what we're here for, to support you on your what's next, whatever it is. Maybe your client want to climb the corporate ladder. Maybe you want to go after another job, or yet you want to be an entrepreneur. But whatever it is, it's your choice and it's your life. So now I want to welcome you and grab your evening favorite, grab your favorite, tongue tester today. Grab your favorite evening beverage, your snack, your pen, your paper, as well as your girlfriend and girlfriends. Because now I have an amazing guest that will be joining us on the stage in just a moment. So today's show, we have a lot of sponsors, y'all. So today's show, first part is being sponsored by Vision Made. Vision Made is having a woman empowerment event. Super excited here in Columbus, Ohio on August the 6th. Yes, August the 6th from 10 to 2. If you're interested in grabbing your early bird ticket, I will drop in a link on how you can gain access to your ticket. And then if you stick around, I'm going to try this. If you stick around, I also will be doing a product review. You guys, I am so excited for the product review here. So I cannot wait for you all to get the product review together. But let me bring on our guest for today. Today it is actually her name is Marcy. Marcy is a trauma informed strategic life coach and a personal transformation mentor with a soft spot for women who, like herself, had a tough upbringing and felt somewhat undeserving of great things in life. She was nominated as Power Healer to follow in 2022 for her work in the field of mental wellness. She is also the author of Road to Recovery, where she shares her journey of physical and emotional healing from a car accident. Throughout her life, she has experienced many turning points, and each and every time she was able to overcome her fears and limitation and upgrade all areas of her life. Her mission is to help every woman fulfill their potential by transforming the way they perceive themselves in relationships and career. So without further ado, let me bring on Miss Marie. How you doing, lady?
Hi, Pamela. How are you?
I
Thank you
am
for
great.
having me. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for this is going to be fun.
This is.
So
That's good.
tell us a little bit more about yourself as I read your bio.
Hmm. So I relate to what you shared in the beginning about having to look inside and be vulnerable with yourself to be able to overcome challenges and to get to that next level. The next what is the next step is it usually involves us looking deeply into who we are, where we come from, and all of those things, right? So my story is that I had, well, like I said, I had a tough upbringing. Growing up, my mom suffers with mental illness. And so that came with a lot of uncertainty. My needs weren't met on a regular basis. I was somewhat kind of very independent or very grown up very early, right? Trying to get my needs met by myself. So that sense of like being hyper independent. And then I had a car accident when I was 22. And that car accident really sort of brought me to face my life with a different perspective where I felt more empowered. Because, at that point, I had the option to become a victim and sit in bed complaining about my injuries and my fate, or I could turn this around and make something really good of it. And that's what I decided to do. I decided to take my destiny by my hand and start to put aside that victim mentality that I had, a little bit of that, poor me, I'm in this situation and all of that. So that really kind of was a wake up call for me. And what I did, I was living in that sort of like warrior, archetype. I was pushing through life and with pride and strength. And I had no idea what vulnerability was. And so I pushed and pushed and pushed. And I had a marriage, which I 10 years later broke up. Um, and and so I started to look at what do I need to do here when I found myself as a single mom of two on a very low income. What do I need to do to land on my feet financially and provide to myself and my children the life that I want to have, a life that I'm proud of? And so I had to look into the next steps and look inside. And that was all good. I managed to do that. So had to really look into my money stories and what I thought, my um, how things would be for me in terms of getting married and being financially supported by a man or not, or all of that I had to challenge. And then what I realized was that I was I was in that masculine energy all of the time, and I was very tired and burnout, and I developed a Graves' disease, which is a hyperactive thyroid, as a result of that as well. And I had to start looking at what was underneath that Graves' disease. What was the reason why I was developing a chronic illness, and what I had to attend to. And I started writing Road to Recovery, the first version of the book, which is here. And that was a bit of a cathartic experience for me, because as I started looking into references to write the book, I didn't really know what the book was going to shape up to be. I started to do the deep work of vulnerability and connecting to all the parts of me that needed healing, that was still holding me back. And in many ways, especially in relationship and in feeling connected and joyful, right? So one thing is to be able to get to your goals, but are you happy as you get to your goals? When you get there, are you going to enjoy your life, or are you going to keep pushing and pushing all the time? At what point you relax and you start to enjoy and feel connected to people and to yourself, most importantly. So that's what I did. And in that process, I already was a coach, but I became a trauma informed coach, because that was a completely, life changing for me to work with trauma in a trauma informed approach. And that is my story. And
I,
so I've
I
got a
love
lot to share about next steps and in what that process looks like, and how I firmly believe in the trauma informed approach.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story, and I think it's so powerful. And I want women to understand we all have faced trauma one way or another. It's all how you handle it. But I want to go back. As you are a trauma informed coach, how do you help women who have experienced trauma? How do you help them?
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to say that trauma is very misunderstood, right? Because a lot of times we think that we haven't experienced any trauma, because we think of trauma as like a car accident or a sexual abuse. And, there are many, many ways that you could hold trauma. And trauma is not so much the event, it's the impact on you, right? So it's the impact on you, and and a traumatic event could be anything that causes, overwhelm, or a sense of like, this is too much, too fast, too soon in life, and that you can't make sense of things,
Mhm.
and that experience is overwhelming. You feel unsafe, and that becomes then stored in your nervous system. So, and there could be religious trauma, and sexual trauma is not just from sexual abuse. There are many ways you could be sexually traumatized. I grew up in a culture where children had exposure to women being objectified publicly on TV. So I'm Brazilian, and all of that exposure to sexuality very early in life can result in sexual trauma as
Yes.
well. So just to clarify, and then religious trauma as well. So, and anything that prevents you from being yourself as well. When you don't have your needs met consistently, when you don't have the right to express yourself, or you can only express yourself when you say the things that other people can want to hear, or do the things that other people want you to do, and you have to shut down the authentic parts of yourself. That's also trauma in a way.
So true. I'm
Yeah.
glad that is so true. Even thinking back on my life, what I have faced, um, I can understand that.
Mhm.
Trauma comes in so many different ways. And and it doesn't even have to come within your family. It can be the outside community. So we have women around here, around the world, that is listening to us, and they're like, I totally relate to trauma, and I'm totally relate to this. What would be one piece of advice that you would like to leave them with?
Um, the biggest piece of advice is that healing trauma is not nearly as difficult as it sounds. And the holistic, and this like a mind body spirit approach to healing trauma is a beautiful process that frees you up, brings up your authenticity back, and brings and enable you to take the fork on the road, um, take a different path. Because most of the time, the reason why you are not able to consciously change your behaviors and make different choices is because of trauma. Because your references, your influences are so hardwired in your nervous system, in your memory, that your brain, because it's a lazy thing, will always take the path of least resistance, which is the lazy path is to do the same thing over and over. And it's hard to take a different
Yeah.
step and do something different, and break away from the mold of that what the family did, what your culture did, what your religious group did, and really give yourself that permission to do something different, and to um, yes, to walk your own path, your own unique path in life.
I so agree with you, and I can connect with what you're saying. It is hard to switch to switch the mindset. You're already thinking, okay, what they've judged me on and how it has impacted me now has led me down this road. And that road, it looks so far that, turning back is hard. I know, until one day you're like, I did exactly what you said. I did some inner self work. I mean, deep inner self work, where I had to sit and be okay with me. One thing I used to not to be okay. One thing that what I used to do was I used to not could be by myself, going to a restaurant or going to the movies by myself. Until one day I'm like, you know what? This is it. I'm going to take the leap. And so what I started doing, and I do this now, I go to a big restaurant, even though I have to kind of like the food, but go to a restaurant and sit there and be there to me, because I know now I can be with me and I don't have to worry about anybody else. That was some hard work. And I still work on it today. And then the other thing that I did do to some inner work for myself is to knowing that I love me and that I matter and don't worry about anybody else. I started going to the movie theaters by myself because people frown on sometimes when you see a single person, or not a single, but an individual going to the movies by themselves. And I used to be like, wow. I looked around and I used to say, wow, they are powerful. They're amazing. They can go to the movies and not worry about it. Well, now I can go to the movies and I'm that person. But I understand about you, like you said, that inner critic will keep you so into the norm when it's really not the norm. And so I tell these stories because I want women to understand I faced it too. I did. I allowed it to control me to no end until I had to realize it's my life. And what everybody else said, so what? And
Me
so,
too.
yeah,
Me
it
too.
was hard. It's hard.
Me
Don't get me,
too.
yeah. It was hard to do that. But knowing
Yeah.
that it's I had the control and not to give that control to society, that was another gut wrenching because I relied on society be like to protect me, but they weren't really protecting me. They were really hurting me. So yes, and it's hard. So I want women to understand, though it's hard, it's necessary for you to get to working on to living the life that you want to live your best life, as we talk about. You have to do it. I've seen so many women that are just sitting there. They're like, if I wish I, and all that. And I'm like, why don't you? And it comes back with so many things. So don't let that keep you.
Yes.
We have an amazing coach here that can walk you through and get you to on that other side. If someone
Mm.
wanted to get connected to you, how would they be able to get connected to you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm sharing mostly these days, and I'm going live frequently. My handle is at Marcia Tepperman, just my name. And my website, marciatepperman.com.au, because I'm in Australia. Yes.
Yeah, inner work is so important. Realize that your narrative of their story is even better. So true.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
true. I'm so, oh, she said that your Instagram is it's at Marcy.
Marcia Tepperman. Marcia Tepperman. So Marcia Tepperman. Yes, Tepperman.
There you go. And so with that, Marcy, before we do, as we always do, some fun things, there's always women sitting at the table and like, wow, I admire them. Who would you like to leave them with?
Mm. You know, we sometimes look at people and think, oh, they do it so easily. It's not easy. It's not that it's easy, it's just that we do it,
Yeah.
right? We do it because here's the thing I want to leave you with. As a grown woman, it's your responsibility to take care of all the little parts of you that need support. It's your responsibility to not be, entangled with with your inner child, or all the little versions of you, but to support her, to lead her, to guide her, to feel safe, in yourself enough to be able to move forward. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And we sometimes underestimate what people go through. I certainly can tell you, I've been through hell and back and up
Mm,
and down and still going, and it's not because I've got different things in my personal life that challenge me all the time. And we just need to keep going, but we need to have a way to be able to support ourselves to go through those things.
I so agree with you. Well, Marcy, I'm gonna give you a moment to go sit in the green room. I'll be back with you as we do this station break.
Okay, thanks, Brooke.
So, are you guys getting your nuggets? I mean, my paper, my paper, everyone, it's full, and she's dropping some amazing nuggets. But I want you to understand, if your inner critic is going against, or even if you have that gut feeling, and you're needing to help getting that transformation and removing the trauma or facing the trauma, you can't remove it, but you can face it, and you can walk through it. Marcy is your woman for you. Well, as I said before, we have a lot of sponsors for today's show. So the second sponsor is actually, I'm gonna do a can you see this? Let me see if I can do it. Here we go. in my face, but we'll do this. I am doing a real quick product review. This is from a lady here in Columbus, Ohio. Her name is Arina, and actually, she was part of the event. The event planners, or not event planners, she was one of the vendors at the event that I had the individuals on. And so she does a lot of flexology and she creates products. So she asked me if I would do one on, this is her, I don't know if you guys can see it, let me move it up a little bit. It is cocoa butter, and she makes it for me. And so I wanted to come on here and tell you about it. The smell smells good, and it's so soft. Ooh, it's so soft and creamy, and I really love it here. I really love it, and it's working on my elbows. Look at the shine. I know you guys. I know I'm not the only one that elbows are being that looks bad. So I'm always looking for a product that can help me make me feel good, as well as doesn't have a strong scent, and it doesn't have and it's very soft, and it's not heavy. So I would highly recommend this product from Arena, and I will put in the put in the link how you will be able to get actually some of her products. This smells so good, you guys. And guess what? Now I feel good. And now I can look really smooth, shiny, and feel good and moisturized as I go through the summer. And so, with that being said, now I'm going to bring her back. If anybody has any questions for my amazing guests, drop it in the feed. You see, we're coming out with a whole bunch of everyone's talking, and I love to empower you to go after your what's next. And she's dropping some amazing nuggets. I know, right? Oh, yeah, mine too. So I will drop it in the feed on how you can get this amazing product. Look, let me go back here. Okay. So one part of the show that we always do is called Book on the Shelf. The book on the shelf is all about, it's not, I don't get any, everyone's always thinking, oh, you get kickback. No, it is, I don't. But I do believe in order for us to empower and inspire ourselves to get to our what's next, we have to expand our minds. And so what one perfect way to do it is read a book, or what I do is listen, listen to audible books. So do you have a book that you would like to suggest to our listeners and
Oh,
followers?
yes, I have a book right here. Just bear with me.
Okay.
I've got a few books. I've got so many books. I've got books on my Kindle, books on my shelves. I love the books that I like to highlight. Dr. Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intention.
Ooh.
Learning to co-create your world your way. It's one of my favorite books ever. I absolutely love this book. I have it on Audible. I heard it driving like 5 times. I read it. I highlighted the book. I have like post-its all over the book. It's one of my
Ooh.
favorite ones. And this is another one, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
I love
These
it.
books are, how to lose your mind and create a new one.
Oh, I like that.
That is the yes.
Okay, so I will be
These
adding
books
this.
are, I think, like the top my one of my top two, as is The Power of Vulnerability by Brene Brown.
Yes,
It's a beautiful book.
yeah,
And also there's my book,
that's right. I was going
Road to Recovery, A Journey of Physical and Emotional Healing. This is my book. And this book is for everyone. It's not just for people who have been involved in a road accident. This book is really about being intentional about your identity and about your next steps, and taking control, understanding how you meet your needs. Because this is one big thing. Sometimes we meet our needs in
Mhm.
adaptive ways which aren't necessarily positive, and it's so important for us to understand how we are meeting our needs, and if we are prioritizing growth and contribution, as there are needs of the soul, which really help us in our spiritual journey, in growing and developing as humans in this life, or if we are just trying to control things and get connection and control in ways that are not healthy. So there's a lot in this book, a lot more than meets the eye.
We have a question here, and one question is, what are some ways someone can deepen their healing journey? That's good.
Well, learning to become more vulnerable, and by that I mean being able to um, meet your yourself in your vulnerability, and honor your emotions, honor your needs. So it's very important. There's one thing that I'm very against this idea of spiritual bypassing, where we go
Mhm.
into this journey, spiritual journey, and we say, oh, the law of attraction, I'm going to feel good all the time, I'm going to push all the negative emotions out of the way,
Yeah.
sweep it under the carpet, and then just keep going, because that's how I'm going to achieve my best life. But the spiritual bypassing, it doesn't support you to really grow spiritually. It might help you keep your vibration high, but you really need to be able to understand what's your experience, in even in your felt sense, like how does the emotion feel. Become curious about what is it that you're making it mean about yourself. How is this holding you back? What part of you needs to be met with love and support and validated. There's a lot of the times, there's a part of us screaming to be seen, you
Mhm.
know a past wounded child or younger part of you that is really needing to be held and supported and be told by you that everything is okay. You've got her, and that's how you can deepen your journey.
Oh, I love that. I love it. As you are a busy woman and we all are busy, what do you for your self-care? What is one thing you do for self-care for yourself?
I really track my mood. And
Mm.
whenever I start to feel really tired and grumpy or a little bit snappy, or then I start to first take rest and understand what is it that I need. Do I need to be out in nature? Do I need to meet a girlfriend? Do I need to take a deep sleep, a longer sleep, take a nap, or stay in bed, or just have a pajama day? What do I need? Do I need to reach out for support? Do I need to contact my own therapist coach to go through another session, like do a few more sessions with her? Or do I need support in my business? What is it that I need? So I try to really track how I'm feeling, and then ask myself, what is it that I need right now?
I love that. Now, I love the tracking your mood. I really love that. I have to say, lately, I've been intentional in asking others what do they need, and I wanted that to be such an intent. I'm being wanting to be more intentional on what I do and who I bring into my space. So I like that a lot. I really like.
Mm.
So as we're getting ready our time has gone by so fast. This is so fun. I really think this is
It's gone
fun.
fast. Yeah, I can't
I
believe 10 years.
know, it has, it has. So what is your what's next?
Well, my what's next is my what's next. I think it's to I've got these dreams that I have like being shelved. I maybe I'll bring this into manifestation by talking about it. But I have this idea, almost like to create a fashion label, and a range of like essential oil sprays and things like that. I think what's next is to just get my own coaching business to a really good place, but also not to leave those dreams unfulfilled, to look for ways to bring those dreams to fruition, to yes.
Oh,
That is my what's
that's
next.
right. Oh, I can't
Yes.
wait. Look, I'm gonna keep watch out for you and see which checking on you. Have you come back next year. Let us know where you at with your dreams and things like that. I would love to hear that. And then lastly, I'm all about power words. And power words are those words that'll help us get through that moment. You know, we always hit that wall. We're always hitting that wall at any and every point of the day. What is your power word to help you get through?
Um, my power word is I deserve it.
Ooh,
I deserve it.
I love it.
Because I find that most of the time when I am not taking action is because I'm not feeling deserving of what it is that it requires me to do the next thing.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. This is, well, you know what, Marcy, this has been so helpful and empowering, inspiring, and helps everyone to talk about the trauma. You know, so and a lot of us we hide the trauma and we don't talk about it or we tuck it in someplace. So I'm glad for you to come here and talk about trauma. And I thank you for sharing your amazing story. It was, what did she say? My power phrase is you have 5 minutes to cry about it, then it's time to move on. Credits to my, yes. Actually, that
Good
is
one.
that
That's a
is
really good
actually,
one.
yeah, actually that is actually how my I work with a couple of my girlfriends in my tribe. They let me wallow in sorrow for a moment. Okay, now we'll figure out the plan.
If
Which is
I have 2 seconds to say something, I usually,
sure.
when I do a somatic processing and I go into an emotion, there is usually a lie that I'm telling myself. And then underneath the lie, there is the truth. And that truth is really empowering. And that's what emerges in my coaching sessions with my clients is that when we actually go and go a little deeper, that empowerment comes from within, that wisdom, that
Mm,
knowing comes from within. So it could change. It could be something, and then actually saying it out loud, the thing that
mhm.
is like, it's like your soul wanting to tell what's the truth about the situation. That is so empowering. And sometimes we need to say it a few times, just to really feel like at a cellular level. And so get underneath the emotions to see what is it your power words are for that moment, because there's lots and lots of wisdom buried underneath trauma. And if you connect to your emotions, you will really allow that to come through.
I think that, well, I have nothing else to say. I think that was powerful. So, Marcy, I'm gonna put you in the green room. Do not go anywhere. I'll be
All
right
right.
back with you. But thank you for joining us. This was
Thank you, everyone. This was great. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me,
absolutely,
Pamela.
absolutely. Okay, everybody, did you get your nuggets? I mean, my paper is full. I am full, knowing that we all face trauma, right? And trauma holds us back in so many ways to go after our what's next. But the only way we can go after our what's next is to face it. And we have an amazing trauma transformation coach who just laid out some rules and some amazing nuggets and things like that. If you're interested in getting in contact with her, here is her information here. She says she can be followed on Instagram. Well, this was fun. I hope you guys had an amazing time as I do. Thank you for giving me this 30 minutes time, and I respect that. And I want you all to know you only have one life to live. I want you to live your life for you, not for anybody else. And know that we even talked about the trauma. We talked about the inner critic that keeps us down. But we also talked about ways to get through it. How we talked about being vulnerable, but dig deep and so much more. So knowing that we did it and you can too. So until next week, everyone, take care of yourself and thank you and have a vision made day. Bye, everybody. This was cool.